Hello, my name is Dr. Laura Gravel, and I'm just super glad that you've tuned in. Somebody has taken the time to share this presentation with you, or you have been given the link by Dr. Laura Gravel. So that's me, Dr. Laura Gravel. I'm a chiropractor, brain-based, neurologically focused chiropractor in London, Ontario. I have been graduated in 2003. I have 4 small children under the age of 12. And I run a family-based practice in London, Ontario. I'm very excited that you're joining me, that I'm going to be sharing with you some key concepts. And that's what I'm big at, is keeping it simple, not getting into the nitty-gritty, not getting too technical. By the end of this, I am surely not going to make you a chiropractor, but I'm going to introduce to you top concepts of the premises behind chiropractic. So let's get going. I always say this. I have a strong body. I have a healthy body. I have a body that can heal. I have a strong body, a healthy body, and a body that can heal. I ingrain that in my kids so they know, man, my body's strong. I don't have to rely on outside in things. Don't take parts of my body out because they're meant to be there. We have to understand the body knows exactly what to do, when to do, how to do it, if and when it gets into a state of restoration, a state of healing. We're going to talk about that today. What's going to get us fastest into that restoration benchmark? I have a strong body. I have a healthy body. I have a body that can heal. It knows exactly what to do, when to do. There's a blueprint for every cell division, every cell death. We can't think, man, my immunoglobulins should be doing this right now. Oh, and my glucose level over here should be reacting because, oh, I need this chemical to be released. It's all under unconscious control. A strong body, a healthy body, and a body that can heal. And I teach my kids that, and I share that with patients every day. You know, we want to be the best you that you are in any area of your life. And if that means working out, if that means climb Kilimanjaro, that means have a smile on your face, if that means take less medication, if that means engaging in your life, engaging in what's important to you. And in our office, we pride ourselves in getting on this journey with people. And that means digging deep, doing what we call a case history and also a life history. So what do you love to do? What's important to you? How can we talk to you in a language that resonates with you and get you back to doing things that you love? If we peel away all the external layers, all the stressors in our life, chip away and chip away and chip away. But if we strip it down, what is at the core of you? What do you love to do? Your experiences, your joy, being with people. We want to help you in our office get back to that. So I can heal. I have a strong body, a powerful body, a healthy body, strong body that can heal. I always get asked very simple questions. And again, today we're going to keep it very simple. Strategy is simple. How can I be as healthy as possible for as long as possible? How do I decrease stress in my life? And how can I positively impact the health of my family? So today we're going to keep it really simple, easy, whether you're watching this at your desk at the office, whether you're Zooming it, whether you're at a workstation, whether you're at home. Simple, easy information, simple steps, and action items. So first off, a little bit of talk about the nervous system itself. Nerves run the body. We have about 45 miles of nerves in the body. This is a division chart to show you where they all go. The smallest blue section is 6% of those nerves go to pain. Everybody says, whoa, what did you say, Dr. Laura? 6% of those nerves go to pain? That means they are the pain receptors, the nociceptors, the, oh my gosh, Dr. Laura, I have a sore back nerves. The interesting thing about these 6% is I can't measure them. I can only go by what you tell me, and I sure can't take that pain away. Well, that's what I thought a chiropractor did. We're going to get there in a moment. The green section is the motor nerves. It may be a little bit out balanced. It's the only diagram I could show that had a 3-part pie chart, but the largest part is the autonomic system. Autonomic system is what runs everything under unconscious control. Those leukocytes, the digestive system, the energy system, you can't right now say, liver, do your thing, produce this chemical, glucose, produce here. It is under, even our breathing, our heart rate, it's under unconscious control. I can measure those That's why in our office, since it's a part of it, we have the tools to measure how well those nerves are functioning. There's a word I want you to take away from today is function. I can't measure pain, but I sure can measure how the autonomic system is working, is running. Is it in one of two states? Is that healing, growth, and repair? Healing, growth, and repair, restoration. That word magic happens. So when the bodies begin to, we call them miracles, but the body begins to sing in all of its glory. Or is your body in running from the bear and oh my gosh, I am in the fight, flight, freeze. My body's constantly under stress and I can't calm down. I can tell you those nerves are not going to be functioning ideally because we're going to think that we're running from the bear all the time. We're going to be lunch. I'm not going to make it to lunch. So we are able to measure and look how those autonomic nerves are functioning. And with chiropractic, we can increase those, at least have a hand in. Lifestyle has a our environment is a big player, but a dialed down nervous system is one that allows the body to heal. So concepts. First concept is movement feeds the brain. Spine has to move to feed the brain. Interesting. The spine goes down the spinal cord and is housed by the spine, the hard bones. There's proprioceptors, big word for magic sensors, and those have to move and they tell the brain, they like dance up the spine with proper motion through a chiropractic adjustment. Tells the brain to literally come alive. This is when we've been sitting for a long period of time. If we're crossing the Atlantic on a flight or sitting at our desk or we haven't moved today, our brain just feels not alive. Those proprioceptors tell me where I am in space. They signal to feed the brain. So movement develops. This is very important in children. So spinal motion, spinal curves being there proper. The cross crawl that children do, then sitting up, the walking bipedal or on 2 feet, signal the brain to develop in certain areas. So develop and feed the brain, specifically the front part of our brain, and that's our executive brain function. Right at the front, that's our decision, our rational, our thinking, our impulse control, our behavior, and our deduction reasoning. Just think somebody who's sitting at the boardroom table and executing all of these, that's the executive brain function, and man, that's lit up like a Christmas tree with chiropractic. So if the opposite of that is true, if there's no stimulation to this, then the connections fail and the brain begins to shut off from the outside world. It's not receiving information. What is its job? Its job is to adapt me to my world. So guess what becomes less and less and less when that brain goes into a dark cave is my adaptive ability, my ability to function, my ability to regulate my physiology. Physiology is all that I talked about, the lungs, the digestive system, the chemicals, the hormones. It takes in what's happening in my outside world and tells my body how to respond and adapt and control my physiology. So if the brain is not able to do that, guess what falters is my regulation of all my inside function. Just like a drone. A drone is, if I was on the ninth hole of a golf course and I'm ready to do my thing and a drone goes up and it surveys the land, it surveys all of my surroundings, gets information on the wind speed, on the terrain, the topography, if you will, the wind speed, the height of the trees. What's going to make me alter my course of swing to get the best result? It comes back and it then gives me all that information in the perfect world so I can have the best shot. It's exactly what the nervous system down your back does when it has that movement, that stimulation through the who to bring that brain alive so it can adapt your physiology, you control your insides to what's going on to the outside. This is paramount in today's high stress and overloaded world. We are literally bombarded, physical, emotional, chemical, and our body can either go into shut down mode or thrive mode. And the chiropractic adjustment is a regulating force. It dials down that overloaded stress response. It's a calming input that says, not that we can negate all of our outside forces, but man, we can learn to dial down that stress response so I can control my physiological response to stress in an even a better way. So the job of the nervous system is to keep me upright against gravity. Because if I start to bend forward, man, I'm losing that efficiency. I can perceive my world, I can adapt to what's going on, and I can thus heal my body. Ease and efficiency, love this concept. So when I am at ease, when I am efficient, I have extra energy. I actually have enough energy. I'm working synergistically. All my parts are strong. All my parts are adaptable and capable. I can have high performance and I can have high productivity. I'm skillful. If we look at a tower, everybody's played Jenga, that's why I put it in here. So if we look at a tower and we straighten out that Jenga tower, nicely packed, and we put a light bulb at the top, or we put a brain at the top, and we start to pull out blocks, well, what's going to happen is that Jenga tower is going to do exactly what it's doing now. It's going to become weakened, exhausted. It's actually it's going to collapse. Now, we won't collapse, but we may lean forward more. We may lean to the side more. This is a weakened, collapsing system. That brain simply is not getting the information to say, okay, I can dial down the stress response. I can become more efficient. I am not wasting energy to stand up straight. Let's think of a tower that is to the point of one more block that I pull out. That's called threshold. Well, if we are a weakened and exhausted system, it's going to take very little to throw my system into a state of stress, into a state of breakdown versus build up. So we want to have that fluidity. We want to have that flexibility in our life to ebb and flow with the outer demands. And our body knows our body knows ease. So when things are working together, working efficiency, we're not bleeding out that extra energy. I don't mean bleeding out in the literal sense of bleeding out energy, but man, if my light bulb is dim, I'm not getting that input in. It's taking me way more energy just to stand upright. I do not have extra energy for sleep because I'm going to be super vigilant all the time. I think I'm being attacked by a bear and I'm going to collapse and weakened. I don't have extra energy to run my immune system, my digestive system. If the body is in that fight or flight all the time, man, all these other systems are going to respond as if I'm being chased by a bear. The beautiful thing about chiropractic is we literally bring that brain alive so I can be more at ease and more efficiency. And that's really one concept that I love to share. Another concept is called global subluxation. So subluxation is a motion segment that's not moving properly, that's not stimulating the brain to dial down the stress response. If you went back to the Jenga analogy and I took out a block, that could be a bone out of position, if you will. It's not as simple as that. But you have a issue at a certain area, but you also have global. It absolutely affects everything because the brain is now taxed more because it affects absolutely everything in that chain of commands. It's not just global, not just local. Now it's global, and the brain has to work harder, and everything can collapse and weaken. So we begin to become unstable. Has to work harder. Has a lower threshold for everything. So it's not just one area, it really affects everything. So as chiropractors, we simply don't bang bones back in place, but it gives us a good illustration of efficiency. When we think of that brain on the top not getting that information in, that system has to expend so much extra energy. So there's a local movement issue, but it absolutely affects the whole system. It's just like if you have a loose wire in your home, it's not just that one area, it's the whole area that's affected as well. So one small attack could topple that system. So concept 3, I want you to think of a camera. What a camera does, take a picture, it takes a snapshot. I want you to know that the nervous system takes these pictures and stores in our physiology really a timeline of trauma. Trauma is simply emotional emotional overwhelm. Something the body has said, I can't deal with it at this time. I'm going to store this. I'm going to process it later. It can be little. It can be small. It can be cumulative of things over a period of time. It's not the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was everything leading up to it. So absolutely the little things matter. And the farther back, the more pushed down they are, the easier it is to reach threshold. So the timeline of trauma and independence of events stores as memorized pattern in the physiology. So is my body always responding in that stressful state? Am I thrown into stress even when I should be? Am I running from the bear even when the outer demands doesn't I don't need to be running from the bear? That's what physiology is. So when we have a patient in our office and we're assessing the function of their nervous system, we're looking at what does that picture tell me to date. It is really independent of what brought us here to date, but because the body remembers all of those events. Think of the stress of the recent past that we've been under, locked in the body. So now that's moving forward how I or you view the world and interact with future circumstances. So as chiropractors, we see the bodies and the physiology states show up in the office. So when we're running a new person through all our integral testing, we're looking at the state of that nervous system. Is it in a state of fight or flight or stress, or is it in a state of rest, or somewhere in between? And how fast can we bring that into a state of rest? Because that's when the body heals. So we're not a body that needs fixing. You will never hear me tell you something is wrong with you. I am more of a teacher, a facilitator of a process of unlearning and unwinding and moving that nervous system to healing. And the body does have to things to unlearn and unwind. Just like a teacher, if a teacher was to take implement a test to students and then gradually input knowledge and take that test again, we'd see movement, hopefully in one direction. It's like a chiropractor. Chiropractic adjustment is an input of energy into the nervous system to bring it back to ease, restoration. Everything works together for the concept that we've talked about is that calming input in the face of stress. It's how long the body can hold that, and we may need reminding, and we'll get to that in a moment, but dialing down that stress response so I can bring my physiology back in a day to not respond to something from 5 years ago, 25 years ago, 35 years ago, and be in high definition response and increase my adaptability today. Good illustration of this is just that camera is a lens through which we live life. Concept for we're not broken, we're not parts, we're more than parts. We are not shoulders, we're not fingers, hangnails. I can't fix a shoulder, a broken toenail, a hangnail. The better question is, why are we not healing? What is the body trying to tell us? And symptoms tell us something if we are willing to listen and not numb them. I always say the problem is never the problem. The problem is never our shoulder, the problem is never our hangnail or our sciatica or my hip flexor. Better question is, why have we lost efficiency? How do we dial down the stress response and get back into ease? So all the members of the team work together, all the parts of your car work together, or on an assembly line. Think of quality assurance. If one thing gets through quality assurance that it is meant to catch, at the end of the line, it's a massive deal. So it's not the shoulder or the sciatica or the hangnail, and that's just being funny. It's the little things that brought us to being in not a state of healing, of restoration. We're actually more in a state of breaking down versus building up. And that's why I'm a facilitator of a process of building the body back up. If we think of a mom of four, could be me, sleeping on a couch. She's just got a cat nap, but she woke up to disarray, disorder. In this room, the cat is peed over here. There's spaghetti on the wall. There's loud music. The couch is torn apart. The best thing her system is going to do to say, I have limited amount of energy here or resources, and I'm going to do clean up in aisle 3 over here. For the limited amount of resources I have to clean up. I have to bring back order, bring back coherence, bring back what order is the best for this analogy, this area of my home. I can then move to this area and do cleanup in aisle 3 over here when I have more energy and I'm thinking clear. So it goes to the worst area first, and that's exactly the wonders of the body. When we begin to create ease, create efficiency, the body says, haha, I can do cleanup now because I have the extra resources to do that. Our goal is to get to that restoration state. So once the nervous system is clean, is connected, is able to navigate the world, is able to fully heal, and the body can be at ease, efficiency, I can handle my load of life. I want to be fluid and flexible. If we think of a Jenga tower that's or something made of rebar, that is rebar. That is not fluid. That is not flexible. That will not bend with your load of life. A system that has that ability to almost dance with the load of life, to be fluid, to be flexible. I can be the best me that I can be. Continuously input into that brain by chiropractic adjustments to keep my nervous system able to navigate the world, clean up in aisle 3 all the things that need to be cleaned up, and really reinforce. That's the beautiful thing about the study of neuroplasticity is the brain can heal. The brain can prune away old synaptic connections that no longer serve us and rewire the new ones. Reinforce proper patterns. Be the best who you can be. Be the best self. Bring my physiology back in the day and forget the old imprints. Not a memory of the past, but rather a reaction to what happening right now. So I or you, whoever I'm talking to on the other line, I want you to think about what do you love to do? Your joys, your experiences. Maybe it's run, express, work, create, contribute, speak, tap into creativity, find joy, love self again. So that is our job, is to really help you connect to the things that you love in your life. And I love this hierarchy. This is how in our office, this is how we work. At the very bottom, you'll see is motion. The spine has to move to keep the brain alive. We're going to jump over interruption for a moment, because our first benchmark in our office is getting you to restoration, dialing down the stress response. We can never mitigate. We can never have the stress response go, because it what runs the show all the time, specifically in kids. That's why kids have high heart rates, high breathing rates. We have to dial it down, and we can't live in a bubble. But once we get to that stage of a better function, and restoration is not a state that's like, if I eat an apple once, I'm not healthy. Restoration is not gotten to and stayed at. It's we're climbing a mountain here. It's input into the nervous system with a regular, repeated, build that momentum with a schedule of care at a chiropractor's office. We reach that restoration. There may be a cloud when we're getting up to this hierarchy. Man, there may be some weather that hits us. It could knock us down a peg, but it's movement up the mountain. It's repetitious. It's energy into the system, and stress moves us down. So restoration is that key phase when we're interrupting, such as backpack. We're interrupting an old pattern, be that a stress pattern, be that a movement pattern, be that a posture pattern, be that what we saw in X-ray or your heart rate variability. Restoration is that first benchmark that we're getting into, and it is dynamic. A brain that's dialed down is able to think greater than begin to heal, begin to reorganize. We're going to skip over integration for a moment. Reorganization is healing. Again, it's an ebb and flow. That is my new normal pattern. The patterns that I've had before, my default patterns, are no longer my go-to. At the top of the chart, connection and creation, that's where I can be the best version of me. I'm able to think greater than myself. I'm able to contribute, connect. I'm able to restore, and that depends on many factors. And we talked about that self-responsibility piece, and our environment is absolutely key. So that top of the chart is where we hold the vision for yourselves, and that's really connection. And we can only connect when we're stuck in ourselves. The brain that is stuck at the bottom of the pyramid can't get to a place of how can I connect and contribute to others when it's stuck at the bottom of the pyramid. And we know where our brain's wired for connection and contribution and wants to get there. Think of the climate that we've just come out of and how important that vital connection is for that developing brain to get us out of the stress, out of that limbic, that emotional response. And connection grows our brain. So people always ask, Dr. Laura, how often do you get adjusted? And I get adjusted once a week to twice a week. Periods of high stress, I am at my chiropractor more than normal, and that is once a week or twice a week. For how long do you go at that frequency? I say forever. So I have a conversation, and my goal is to get patients to a frequency of care that helps them handle that load of life. We got massive outside influences come in. The chiropractic adjuster is a calming influence to dial down that stress response, to help us heal, grow, function, adapt, and be as vital as possible for as long as possible. And that's what I want for my brain. Whether that's what you want, we have a discussion of that. And we get there incrementally. We take progress assessments every 12 visits to see how are we moving up the mountain together and what's that frequency that keeps us our high function. And if there's a period that we don't see each other in the office or you're away from chiropractic care, I hope your chiropractor does a thorough reevaluation to see the mark of perhaps backward slide that we've seen, but how fast can we get back up the mountain? So in our office, I mean, I always say our goal is to help you experience and express life to the fullest. And that means holding for you the concept of creation and connection at the top. So next steps. People want to know, how do I get to the top? How do I climb that mountain? And how do I become resilient in times of stress? And what can I do to help my family and our brains be the best I can be for my entire life? Well, here's an invitation for you. You are hearing my voice. You are somehow connected to me. Our office phone number is 519-433-9222. Your next step is to call the office, talk to my receptionist, say I viewed this online and I would like to take you up on our invitation. Normally a thorough consultation, exam, nerve scan, our functional analysis of your nervous system, taking a picture of the stress, is $149. It is $47 with this offer, invitational offer. That includes x-ray if we do have to take it. This is for yourself. If you feel that this is not for you, but you feel your daughter, your son, your friend, please, this invitation is extended to them. It is only good for 1 week. So this view you are watching is time sensitive, and the offer is only good from 1 week from today. So I leave you with this. What are you missing in your life? What would you love to do more of? More joy, more connection, more healing, more function. Higher adaptability, greater chance of health, of healing in that vital life. So the journey is yours. And every journey begins with that first step. So I look forward to seeing you in the office, and live your best life. Get adjusted.